Hi guys, Candy Toy Box here. Today you will need some pony beads. Any color that you have on hand will work. I'm just going to do a blue, pink, and purple color scheme. And you're also going to need some stars. And a toy if you want to add a toy or a perler. You're also going to need a lot of string. So I'm going to start with, I think I have like 4 feet of string here. I have scissors, a lighter, and a needle. And we're going to talk a little bit about this bracelet before we get into the tutorial. But this is a vintage piece that I made, I believe 2004, 2005. But if you've been following me for a while, you know that I love Blue's Clues. But I've since retired this just because it's stretched out here and I'm afraid that it's going to break. So I thought it would be fun to make an updated version. So if I want to wear it, I can. And then also I get to show it or share it with you guys. I have some pictures here. So this is a picture of me spinning poi, and you can see that it's on my arm. So I wore this, after I made this, I wore it to every party. I mean, you can tell, like, it's pretty worn. Some of the paint's coming off blue. But I was looking at this picture, I'm like, wow, I must have traded a lot of candy or gave it all away, because I don't have any candy just back here. But this was an upper arm bracelet that I wore. So, fun action shot of me spinning poi. And here's another picture. You can see I'm wearing it up there. And here's another picture. I'm wearing it right there. This was at Wempf. And this was at the Dayton Gym Club. And I'm pretty sure this was a Kentucky party. I could be wrong. It might have been an indie party. But yeah, I just wanted to show a few pictures of me wearing the bracelet. But I didn't have too many pieces that fit on my upper arms. So that was the main purpose for me making this. But we're going to start with our long piece of string. You want to get both of your ends together. And we need to create a pattern. So I'm going to use the inside as my reference. And I'm going to lay out my pattern first. Okay, that's going to be my inside pattern. I'm going to go ahead and put that on one side of the string. So pink, blue, purple, that's what it's going to look like. Now go ahead and grab your ends and let these beads go to the middle. Okay, we're going to separate the ends and then go ahead and put this. We're just going to repeat the same pattern. You can lay that down and you're going to take your other string and go across. So if you've made a ladder before, that's how the base is for this. you're going to put your ends together and then pull this down. Okay, we're going to repeat that pattern. And I would like to mention, if you haven't watched all my videos, that this style cuff is what I designed before there was like 3D X-base cuffs and basically what you see today. This was the original before those. Okay, so we're going to put this down. And we're going to take the other string and go across. Now that we have this started, you can just pull both sides at the same time. And that's what it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of these off camera. You're just going to repeat the same process over and over until you get to your desired length. And I'll let you know how many rows I end up doing. But I'm going to go ahead and do that part off camera and then I'll be back. Okay guys, I have all my rows on. I ended up doing 24, but you're going to want to try this on and make sure it's the size you want. And I made this a little bigger so it could go higher up on your arm. So you might have to do less rows. And also, if you pull this and it feels too loose, you might have to go back through and tighten it. And the way you tighten it is you hold this end with the long strings tight, and you take your fingers and you pull down on each row to tighten it if it's loose. And you might have to do that a few times. It just depends. It doesn't have to be super tight. You want it to have some stretch, but you don't want it to feel like it's already falling apart. And with this ladder stitch, it's always good to go back and tighten it up. Okay, so we have our two ends. We need to cross them through the end row. Okay, you're going to pull that tight. That's what it looks like. Now go ahead at this point and make a knot on both sides. That way the bracelet stays secure while we build on the sides and on top of it. Do the same thing on this side. Make a knot. And you're going to leave both of those strings on. And if you run out of string, which it looks like I'm going to, you can tie some on. And you want to stretch this out a little bit. And don't worry about if it bunches up on you, because once we get all this on, all these beads on top, and you wear it a few times, it will flatten out for you. Now you can put your needle on. Okay, so I went ahead and laid out my pattern that I'm going to do, starting with the pink. So I'm adding 1 star to each set. We're going to start with this set, and then we're going to add this one, and then this one. I'm going to leave those out as a guide. So we're going to start with a pink, blue, and purple. And what we're going to do is we're coming out of this pink bead. We're going to skip this next row and go to this bead. And you're going to take your needle and you're going to go out this way. Okay, we're going to repeat that, but with the next set. We're coming out of this pink bead. We're going to skip this one and go to the next one, and you're going to go out. And you will want to keep pulling your string to tighten that up as you work along. Coming out of this pink, skipping one, and then going through the third pink here. So just to double check, just look in there and make sure you have 1 row where there's no string coming out. And that's what it looks like so far. I'm going to do one more. Skipping this bead and going through this one. Now looking at this one, it looks like I didn't do that all the way around, but I'm gonna try to see if I can make this outside go all the way around. But I'm gonna go ahead and work on this and see what it looks like when I get over to the other side, and then show you guys the next step. Okay guys, I went ahead and added all of my beads on here. And this was my last row. My string is coming out of this pink bead. Now we need to do the same exact thing over here on this side. So same thing, we're going to start with this pattern. Coming out of this pink, we're going to skip this one and then go through this one. Okay, so it's the same thing on both sides. The next one, blue, right here, you can just look over and see. I'm going to go ahead and do this side, and then I'll come back and show you. Okay, guys, I have both sides finished, and this is what it looks like. And we're coming out of these 2 pink beads. We need to take our string and go up through just this outside pink, the next bead. Well, might be a little tricky because those beads we just put on are in the way. So you pull the string through, and what you want is the string to be coming this direction to the center. Same thing over here. We're coming out of this pink one. We need to go up through the next one. That was easier to see. Okay, at this point we're gonna add our toy. And I forgot to mention this is a vintage toy that I've had for a long time, and I'm glad that I'm getting to use it. And if you see this guy, we're going to add our stars. And I think I'm going to tie around his their ears here. So I added my 3 stars, and I'm going to tie. So you're going to have to get creative depending on what toy you're using. Or you might be able to drill a hole. And that's what it looks like. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Add our stars. And then tie, whoops. Okay, that's what it looks like. Now we're going to add the same pattern of stars on both sides. We'll do that on the other side. Okay, and now I think it's 5 rows. So we're coming out of this row. I'm going to count this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's double check that. So we're going through the pink. Let's see if that gave us enough room. Okay, yeah. There we go. Okay, guys, for this part, we're going to put beads on both sides. We're adding 4 pony beads. Four pony beads on each side. And then we're going to take a star, and that's going to go through both strings. Like this. And we're going to repeat that. Add 4 pony beads. So we're making an X, 4 pony beads, a star in the middle, and then 4 more on each side. And what we're going to be doing is going through the second bead. So we're coming out of this pink bead. We're going to skip this one and go through this one. You're going to take your string and go through. Same thing over here. And make sure that's tight. And something that's helpful is when we're adding these, we're going to be going through the bead that we haven't strung through. So if you look on each side, we've already gone through this pink bead and this one. So we're always going to be going through that middle one we haven't done yet. So if you look in there, that might help a little bit. And we're going to keep repeating this, but the star in the middle, that color will change. Now we're going to put the star through both. Four pony beads. Okay, we're coming out of this bead. We're going to skip this one and go through that middle one. And like I said, this is the bead we haven't strung through yet. If that helps you figure it out. Same thing on this side. And pull that tight. And that's what it looks like so far. So you're going to keep doing that all the way around. I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera, and then I'll be back to show you how to tie it off and what it looks like. Okay guys, I got all my beads on. This was my last row right here, and the string went through this bead here right after the pink star right here. I tied it. Same thing on this side. I went ahead and tied that and cut it off. But this is what it looks like. And this is going to look really cool in the black light because I use glow-in-the-dark beads. Let's look at the original and the remake. I think it turned out pretty good. And I like the color scheme, and that magenta's on this one. I hope you guys enjoyed this little story time and tutorial. I'll see you next time.